Are you okay?
I'm... It's nothing. I just felt like someone was... I don't know... watching me.
Oh shit, I think he sees me. Oh fuck. Just stand still, maybe he won't notice you. Oh, thank God. Hey everyone, Arkham here, and in today's video I'm going to be reviewing Halo Infinite's campaign, so thank you for joining me. I first played through the game on Legendary difficulty. During this playthrough I collected all the skulls, actually without using a guide, except for the last one because it had some weird situational requirements regarding the Sentinels. So I did have to look that one up, otherwise, yeah, that was quite a fun journey and took quite a bit of time. I also completed all the other side missions and collectibles, so I did 100% complete the game on this run. Overall, it took me about 34 hours in game, but that doesn't count for when you have to restart from a death. So overall, it probably took me closer to 40 to 45 hours to complete. Overall, I had an absolute blast playing through this campaign, which I'm very happy to say, as I was a bit cautious and skeptical going in with how much I would enjoy it, just because I didn't really care for Halo 5's campaign, especially with what they did with Cortana. I was a big fan of Cortana, so that was a bit... Yeah, I wasn't quite sure where they were going to go with it. But and with the lack of co-op from launch, which I usually play with friends through my first playthrough since CE, I was a bit cautious on that as well, but ultimately I wanted to play through to make sure that I didn't get spoiled, so thankfully I did that, and to see if they could redeem themselves, and I'm happy to say 3 for 3 really knocked this out of the park, so congrats to them. Right from the start, I was really enjoying how this game was playing. It felt great, and I gotta say the grappling hook was a solid addition, especially that you keep it. You don't have to just go find it on the map to replenish it. That was easily one of the most fun additions to this game so far, and the overall sandbox since maybe Halo 3's equipment, which obviously this took inspiration from in terms of how it's used. So it really made traversing Zeta Halo, looking for those skulls and the various items and going from mission to mission. I didn't even really use the fast travel until way later in the game because of how much fun I was having just using that to climb mountains and get around. So that is a huge plus. I was really enjoying just moving around, which is so important. As I was moving around, I found the world and environment to be quite rich and beautiful. Then you add in the score that would supplement it perfectly, in that most cases it established a wonderful tone throughout the time with the game and exploring, especially like you'd go up to, some tall mountaintops or high points on the map and it would start playing the main Halo theme. That was super cool. Or the Halo 2 theme when upon completion of the game. So amazing. Stuff like that I just thought was handled very, very well. Character-wise, I think this is easily... I really got a squeak. I really got a squeak? Yeah, I really do have a squeak over here. No, I really got to fix this squeaky chair. But anyways, character-wise, I think this is the best Master Chief has ever been written. He has a certain weight to him, both physically and emotionally, that just makes everything so much more impactful than before. I especially love how you can really see the struggle with the fate of Cortana. His hesitance and playful banter with the weapon going back and forth with her, as well as his understanding and empathy with the pilot when we find out more about his history and who he is. Speaking of the pilot, I thought he was handled pretty well. At first, he felt a bit plain and just kind of generic, but ultimately, he does get fleshed out into a character with some decent depth and emotional struggles as well, making him feel less like just a filler character, and rather he comes into his own by the end of the story. So I thought that was handled pretty well. Then you have the weapon. She is easily the star of the show for me. As a big Cortana fan, it was just a wonderful experience seeing how she plays out. I absolutely love how she feels both familiar yet fresh. It's like catching up with a friend you haven't spoken to in many years. She has a certain edge and personality to her that I think makes the whole Cortana situation honestly easier to accept for me. which is saying a lot. Everything from her expressions, her
fun.
mannerisms, and down to her
Wanna do it
emotional
again?
responses of joy. Like when you're sliding down the tunnel and she goes, woohoo! Fun, shock, pain, and feeling betrayed by Chief. It's just a wonderful journey with her, and to see how everything unfolds with her. And honestly, she makes a great contrast with Chief, much like Cortana. But yeah, I'm honestly a big fan of this character, and I'm glad to see her sticking around and seeing what they have planned for her going
It
forward.
has
It's
been
kind of like
an
a
honor.
restart in a lot of ways, which is awesome. Honestly, the resolution with
This
Cortana
isn't
feels
an
appropriate.
end.
Even though
It's a
she's
chance to make
irredeemable in
amends,
terms
to
of how much death and
rectify
destruction she has
mistakes.
caused, she ultimately
And it
comes to her
starts here.
senses and sets things right in the end. It
I was
doesn't
wrong.
smooth over everything she's done, because
I
there's been a
thought that I
lot,
could do
but she
this on
knows and
my own.
acknowledges that
But I
and does what
forgot
she
that the
can to
whole
stop things from
point of
getting worse.
all of this,
That's about as much
the
as we
entire
could
reason
hope
that
for
I
at this
chose
point, and
you
I
in the
thought it
first
was a
place was
touching
that we
goodbye
were
for the
supposed to
character,
be
all
a
things
team.
considered.
Perfectly suited, perfectly matched, perfectly perfect. In these final moments, I know what my last mission is. I need to make sure you two learn from my mistakes, become stronger because of them. I chose well, Master Chief. I really did.
After playing through on Legendary and beating the game to 100% completion, I did play through again doing a lasso run. I feel the challenge of Legendary was perfect for me. It made every encounter something you have to respect and pay attention to and how you approach it. Lasso, in a lot of ways, upped the ante, though the bandana skull and tank gun glitch made it more manageable, which I obviously didn't use during my Legendary run. Most annoyingly for me was the black eye skull and the blind skull, as you needed your shields all the way up to get a checkpoint, but you didn't know when your shields were all the way up, so you had to go meleeing enemies, putting yourself at risk. So that was a challenge, and it was a lot of fun. So yeah, that was really cool. Ultimately, it said it took me just over 5 hours to do the Lazo run, because obviously you're just completing the main missions. But I'm sure it took me 10 to 12 at least, in real time, without the just counting the in-game, not counting the deaths, etc. Other notables during my time with the game was I just really love the grunt dialogue in this game. Honestly, I think it was the best it's ever been in any of the games. So that was a lot of fun. There was a lot of funny moments, and this them telling you about how guarded the outpost was, and this is so guarded. It is incredibly guarded. Stuff like that I just thought was hilarious.
I am so good at guarding. Look at how guarded this place is.
And I really enjoyed the challenging boss fights. I like that they felt unique. It was kind of a return to form in Halo's past to have those back again. So that was really cool. I enjoyed all that, as well as all the the various bosses and the unique weapons that you could go collect from them. So I had a lot of fun doing all of that. As far as negatives go, obviously I would have liked to have co-op there, because I usually play through with my friends the first time I go through. But I found myself not missing it too much, because I thought the game was handled really well as a single-player experience. I thought it might be a little bit odd when you have co-op elements mixed in, but I definitely would have liked to play through with a friend. But that's something we knew ahead of time. I didn't care for it all being the same kind of environment for the most part, outside of the Forerunner stuff that you do during the missions. Ultimately, rocky, with trees and mountains, etc. It's like big team battle maps, which I'll get into in my multiplayer review. It just felt a little samey, so I would have liked some snow thrown in, some sand, etc. More like tropical stuff like that. I'm personally a big snow map fan. Avalanche, Sidewinder, Lockout, some of my favorites throughout the series. So it would have been nice to have some of that, but maybe we'll get that in DLC. Other than that, I did have some, very strange glitches happen throughout the game. Nothing that was too debilitating to the experience. There was one where it was like a weird audio glitch with I died I destroyed a sentinel, and the sentinel beam just kept the noise kept happening after it died, and it wouldn't stop until I ended the game and then refreshed it, basically went, loaded the save. So that was very odd. And then other than that, I would have things like ghosts disappearing after I captured a FOB, which is a shame because I enjoyed driving around in the Ghost so much. It was super, super effective on all sorts of, taking down the most wanted targets and stuff like that. So I loved driving the Ghost around. But yeah, they would just randomly disappear when I'd collect a FOB, which is a shame because you can't spawn those in. And then other than that, I think there was a weird glitch where I was stuck in like a crouch state. I couldn't uncrouch. I even went into the controls and tried to unbind it and change the binding and all sorts of things. It just wouldn't let me out of crouch state. So anytime I'd go to sprint, it would make me slide all of a sudden, like right away, or thruster pack was useless, stuff like that. But yeah, beyond that, nothing really hampered my experience in terms of the negatives. I guess I would have liked to have more of a explanation of what happened between Halo 5 and Halo Infinite to help bridge that gap. So yeah, that was a little odd. I think a lot of that's tied into the audio logs. But yeah, it would have been nice to see that on screen. But yeah, overall, nothing that's really going to hamper my score of it, or that I felt like, man, this was a huge missed opportunity, or that really upset me, I guess. Overall, I think I'm going to give Halo Infinite's campaign a 9.2 out of 10. I think that's fair. There's some things I would definitely like to see added through DLC, and I would like to see this adventure continue. I'd also like to play again with friends once co-op goes up, so I plan to see a lot more expanded with this campaign. So I think there's room for growth, and with some of the issues and lack of co-op, I don't think it's perfect. But overall, a very, very solid rebound from Halo 5, and yeah, a nearly amazing experience. It was just a lot of fun. I had a great time. That said, before we go, I do want to give out this for anybody that is still watching. I appreciate all those who've subscribed and liked the videos and left comments especially. I want to engage with you guys. That would be awesome. And I realize that there's a million other places you can go for Halo content, and there's great Halo YouTubers in this community, content creators. So, it's tough waters already, but I'm hoping to grow, my own niche here, or my own little tent pole here, I guess. And yeah, so I appreciate those of you that are sticking with me. I do have this for the first person that wants to claim that. Should be good. I know it's a little slightly blurry, but that should be good. Anyways, so go ahead and claim that. And if you have claimed it on Rockstar's websites, go ahead and let us know in the comments below that you have, so nobody else is wasting their time on that. And I have some more of those to give out before, I think the 31st is when the promotion ends. So make sure you claim that before then. But yes, I have several more coming. So speaking of which, if you do leave a comment in below on this video, just let me know what you guys think of campaign and what score you give it. And on my next video, I don't know what it's going to be about. I know I'm going to review multiplayer, but it's going to be a bigger task than campaign was for me, just because multiplayer is kind of like my heart and soul as part of being a Halo fan. So that's where I'm going to have a lot more opinions, both positive and negative. Anyways, yes, so I will pick one or two people to give out a code to that leave a comment on this video, and I will announce those people on the next video. So make sure you do that, and that way you can get another code and get yourself some double XP or whatever it gives you on their website. So on that note, thank you guys for tuning in, and I will see you guys later.
Sorry. I'm really happy to see you. Really happy. So, what do we do now?
We finish the fight.
Yes, sir. The Banished still control the rest of the ring.
Wait. I know this is weird, given all that's happened, but
What? What is it?
we still don't know your name. We can't keep calling you Echo 216.
No, you can't. Esparza. Fernando Esparza.
It's nice to meet you, Esparza. Fernando Esparza.
Good work, soldier.
And what about you?
What about me?
What do I call you?
Any ideas?
Well, do you think it would be okay? You're sure?
You get to choose your name.
Then I think I might have the perfect one.
All right. Here we go.